How intelligent people think. Have you ever noticed something strange? The loudest person in the room is rarely the smartest. The person who argues the most usually understands the least, and the one everyone overlooks is often the one who changes everything. Think about your own life. How many times did you mistake confidence for intelligence? How many times did you think someone was smart because they spoke fast, used difficult words, or always had an answer? Now, ask yourself a harder question. What if real intelligence doesn't sound impressive? What if it looks like silence, patience, curiosity, and the courage to admit,
I don't know. Most people spend their entire lives trying to look intelligent.
truly intelligent people spend their lives trying to become wiser? There is a huge difference, and once you understand that difference, you will never think the same way again. Because intelligence isn't about having the highest IQ. It isn't about speaking perfect English. It isn't about expensive degrees. It isn't even about being the smartest student in the classroom. Real intelligence is something much deeper. It changes how you see people, how you react under pressure, how you solve problems, how you protect your peace, and how you build a life that most people only dream about tonight. We're going inside the mind of truly intelligent people, not to admire them, but to become one. Because your future depends far more on how you think than on what you know. Imagine two people. Both lose their jobs on the same day, same company, same salary, same shock. The first person goes home angry. He blames the economy. He blames his boss. He blames bad luck. For weeks, he keeps repeating the same sentence. This shouldn't have happened. His life freezes, not because he lost a job, but because his mind became trapped in the past. The second person feels the same pain. He is scared too. He doesn't pretend to be fearless, but after one difficult night, he asks a different question. What is this trying to teach me? That single question changes everything. Instead of looking backward, he starts looking forward. He learns new skills. He meets new people. He discovers opportunities he never noticed before. Months later, people call him lucky, but luck had very little to do with it. His thinking changed before his life did. This is the first secret of intelligent people. They don't waste energy fighting reality. They study it, accept it, and use it because arguing with reality has never changed reality. Think about the last time something went wrong in your own life. Did you spend more time asking, "Why me?" or "What now?" That answer reveals more about your future than your bank account ever will. Here's something nobody teaches in school. Your brain is always telling a story. Every single moment someone ignores your message, your brain creates a story. Your friend looks serious. Your brain creates another story. Your boss says, "Can we talk immediately?" Another story. Most people believe every story their brain creates. Intelligent people don't. They pause. They investigate. They separate facts from assumptions because they know something dangerous. Feelings are real, but they are not always true. Imagine receiving a message that simply says, "Okay, that's it. No emoji, no explanation." Some people immediately think they're angry. Others think they're busy. The message didn't create the emotion. The interpretation did. That is why two people can experience the exact same event and walk away with completely different lives. One becomes bitter, the other becomes stronger. Not because life was different, because thinking was different. The quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of the stories you tell yourself. Intelligent people rewrite those stories before they become prisons. Have you ever argued with someone, and halfway through, You realized they weren't listening at all? They were simply waiting for their turn to speak. This happens every day, not because people are cruel, because their ego is loud. Real intelligence becomes visible in moments like these. Smart people don't listen to reply. They listen to understand. That sounds simple, but very few people actually do it. Imagine talking to someone who makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. No interruptions, no unnecessary advice, no judgment, just genuine attention. How rare is that? And how powerful? People remember how you made them feel far longer than they remember what you said. This is why truly intelligent people often become trusted leaders. Not because they speak the most, because they understand the most. Listening is not passive, it is active intelligence. Now let's talk about something that quietly destroys millions of lives: the need to always be right. Think about how exhausting that is. Every conversation becomes a competition. Every disagreement becomes a battle. Every mistake feels like an attack on your identity. Intelligent people don't protect their opinions. They protect the truth. If new evidence appears, they change their mind without shame, without ego. Because changing your mind after learning something new isn't weakness, it's growth. Imagine carrying around an old map while the entire city has changed. Would you refuse the new map because the old one feels familiar? Of course not. Yet people do this every day with beliefs. They defend outdated ideas simply because admitting change feels uncomfortable. Wisdom begins where ego ends, and that sentence alone can transform your relationships. Have you noticed something about calm people? They rarely react immediately. Someone insults them. They pause. Bad news arrives. They breathe. A difficult decision appears. They think. Most people confuse speed with intelligence, but intelligence often moves slowly. Not because it is weak, because it refuses to become emotional before becoming clear. Imagine driving through thick fog. Would you press harder on the accelerator? Or would you slow down? Your emotions are often like fog. When anger appears, vision disappears. When fear appears, logic becomes quieter. Intelligent people know this. That is why they delay important decisions during emotional storms. They understand something most people ignore. Temporary emotions should never make permanent decisions. How many regrets in life began with, "I wasn't thinking." Exactly. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Being intelligent doesn't mean knowing everything. In fact, the smartest people often ask the most questions. Children ask hundreds of questions. Adults stop asking because they don't want to look stupid. That fear silently kills growth. Imagine entering a room where everyone knows something you don't. One person pretends to understand. Another person asks questions. Who learns? The answer is obvious. But pride keeps choosing the first option. Curiosity is one of the strongest signs of intelligence, because curious people never stop evolving. The day you believe you know enough, you begin falling behind. There is a reason some people improve every year, while others remain the same for decades. The difference isn't talent, it isn't money, it isn't luck, it's reflection. Most people experience life. Intelligent people study their own experiences. Every mistake becomes data. Every failure becomes feedback. Every success becomes a lesson. Instead of asking, "Was I successful?" they ask, "What made this successful?" Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" they ask, "What pattern did I miss?" Their life slowly becomes a laboratory. And every year, they become harder to defeat because experience only becomes wisdom when you actually think about it. Now imagine two glasses. One is already full, the other is almost empty. Which one can receive more water? The answer seems obvious. Yet mentally, many people choose to remain full, full of assumptions, full of certainty, full of pride. There is no room left for new ideas. Intelligent people protect something that looks invisible, mental space. They know that certainty is comfortable, but curiosity is profitable. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn, you stop growing. And life has a strange habit. It keeps moving forward, whether your mind does or not. That is why yesterday's knowledge cannot solve tomorrow's problems. The world changes, technology changes, people change. If your thinking stays frozen, your future does too. Have you ever met someone who seemed impossible to offend? Not because people never criticized them, but because they didn't take every comment personally. This is another hidden mark of intelligence. Emotionally immature people hear criticism and immediately defend themselves. Emotionally intelligent people pause and ask, is there even 1% truth in this? Not because they enjoy criticism, because they enjoy growth more than comfort. Imagine looking into a mirror. The mirror doesn't insult you. It simply reflects reality. Feedback works the same way. Sometimes it is unfair. Sometimes it is completely wrong. But sometimes it reveals something you couldn't see alone. The intelligent mind searches for the lesson, even inside uncomfortable moments. That is why setbacks become stepping stones instead of stopping points. Here's something almost nobody notices. Intelligent people are incredibly careful about where they place their attention. Because attention is life. Where your attention goes, your emotions follow, your habits follow. Eventually, your future follows. If you spend hours every day feeding your mind outrage, you become easier to anger. If you constantly compare yourself with everyone online, nothing you achieve ever feels enough. Smart people don't just protect their money, they protect their mind because they know the world is competing for one thing above all else, their attention. And whoever controls your attention quietly influences your thinking. That is why intelligent people regularly disconnect, not to escape life, but to hear their own thoughts again. Here's a question that may change the way you see yourself. When was the last time you sat in complete silence, with no phone, no music, no notifications, just your own mind? For many people, that feels uncomfortable, almost scary, because silence introduces you to thoughts you've been avoiding. But intelligent people understand something powerful. Silence is where clarity is born. The greatest decisions rarely arrive in chaos. They arrive after the noise disappears. The next breakthrough in your life may not require more information. It may require less distraction. And that difference changes everything.